You like that one? All right. I didn't know that. We'll get started here. Heavenly Father, help us to make the right decisions for the people of Oconee County. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Thompson.
Here.
Small.
Here.
Brumman. Here. Gothier.
Here.
Frankie.
Here. Entertain a motion to approve minutes from November 2nd. Seconded. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Public comment, 3 minutes, state your name and your location. Mr. Winner.
Gee, I don't even know, do I have to stay? Gary Vinod, Mitchell Township. I want to really sing praises to the unsung hero of this county. Our illustrious clerk, who has done a fine job in running our elections. Having applied for another position in another county. And you see all the screw ups that accompanied that, being told I was too late for a write-in. Not filling out the affidavit part, which I said, I think I need to fill that out before I leave, don't I? And now all of a sudden, still trying to figure out what the final election totals was. And if that wasn't bad enough, made our township look bad by putting stuff on the ballot that should have never been there in the first place, kind of reflects bad on this county. But I think our clerk has done a fine job, and I think she needs to be commended for it.
Thank you.
Of course, now I want to condemn her bigger boss, the Secretary of State. This has been a continuous Monday. Back in September, I got my driver's license renewal form in the mail. However, that little sticker that goes on my license plate, that renewal didn't show up. I'm trying to figure out, because I can't fathom this, how they change things and I could get one thing, but I couldn't get the other. So, taking a look at proposal 2 now, where we're giving up our freedom of speech because anybody that says anything went wrong with the election is now going to be subject to criminal penalties. I gotta say, folks, welcome to democracy. Communism's just around the corner.
All right, thanks, Gary. Anybody else? I don't think everybody online. All right, moving on. No presentations, unfinished business, correction to the October 5th, 2022 regular meeting minutes. What was the correction? What was the correction? No?
It says November rather than.
Oh, you finally found it?
It referenced November something instead of October. It was the wrong month. I didn't do those 2 meetings. Trina did both of them. And it was. I don't know. I didn't see that. But there was check numbers that were on one of the numbers on one of the meetings. Yes. Is that was one? That was correct. That was, I believe that was corrected. I think she caught it during the meeting. It was, yeah, it was caught during the meeting.
It wasn't October 5th one.
Okay, and I'm looking at corrected minutes now, so it won't do me any good.
Oh, these are corrected.
Yeah, something was from.
I'll make a motion to approve the corrected minutes.
This is wrong.
Motion has been stated for approval of corrected minutes. And seconded. Any further discussion?
I'm sorry, who was the second?
Terry. No discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, we're on the claims. The race car. I'd like to make a motion to approve the pre-authorized claims and open claims presented for payment between November the 2nd, 2022 and November the 10th, 2022 for check numbers 14908 and 1492220
Knee check number is 1981 to 1985 for a grand total of $189,520.35.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Brumman. Yes. Brady,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Gothier.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, PA 152. You can speak to this for us.
So on the agenda.
Yeah, 152.
You have to opt into or out of this every single year. For health insurance, you're going to opt in or out of the hard cap for what the county pays.
Oh, we decided last week or last.
Did we vote that 2 weeks ago?
I wasn't at that meeting.
Yeah, we voted to approve the insurance as presented.
Correct.
Folks.
We still have to.
We still have to do that.
Yes, yes.
I make a motion, we opt out of PA 152.
Well, that's the hard cap, that's right.
Motion on the table,
I second.
seconded by Dan. Any further discussion? So we'll clarify that we've already decided what insurance we're going with, but it requires us to officially opt out of PA 152.
And if you weren't here, Adam, but when I asked the lady that was here from the insurance, we're still under the hard cap on our HSA. But on the HRA, which was 5 or 6 last time, we're over the hard cap on that. So I think everybody's gotta watch what happens with who's taking what insurance this year and all that, right? But the HRA, we're over. Over the hard cap.
Okay, then, we have a motion, let's, roll call.
Brady,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yeah.
Gothier.
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Brumman. Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, Fund 56, Register of Deeds Automation Fund Amendment. Information on this?
It was emailed to you and it's in your packet, I believe. There was a $5,000 unanticipated revenue in the Register of Deeds office,
Oh,
which increased their bottom line $5,000, which in turn, she made an amendment to her equipment fund line item for $5,000,
yeah,
which changed the bottom line from 22,550 to 27,550 respectively for revenues and expenditures. And that was her request for the change.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment. As
Support.
presented. Moved and supported by Adam and Carolyn. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Thompson.
Yes.
Small,
yes,
Gothier,
yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Brumman. Yes.
Next up is Fund 254 amendment.
Basically the same thing.
254, a little bit bigger numbers. We had a larger than anticipated tax sale. I request that the bottom line be increased $237,800. And the amendment changes from 175 to 412,800 for revenues and expenditures. Those funds that we received, 296,500 were tentatively tax sale proceeds that are going into an escrow for any claims that we have on those properties.
How long do they get as a potential person get to file a claim against the sales?
They have to follow a procedure. They have the year that it's foreclosed, they have to file an intent to file. So it's basically 1 year, but there have that in there is still cases outstanding for class action suits, which would hold the county responsible, and they still haven't they haven't completed the class action suit to know what we're looking at.
I'll make a motion to modify the 254 delinquent tax fund amendment, so, yeah, support. Move supported by Adam and Bill. Any other discussion? Roll call please.
Gothier,
Yes.
Brumman. Yes. Small,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes. Next is the fund 268. Law enforcement fund number 2 amendment.
Request by the prosecuting attorney, there was a prior amendment, done a few months ago. He had an issue with computers. And needed $5,000. They brought that in from their fund balance for this request and. It changed the bottom line from 15,000, the overall from 15,100 to 30,100. The prior amendment was the sheriff's department who had sold some evidence and it was requested the 10,000. So that's where the 30,100 came from. But this particular increase is 5,000.
I'll make a motion.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? By Dan and Terry. Okay, roll call.
Brady,
Yes.
Brumman. Yes. Thompson,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Gothier.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, Teamsters HSA budget amendments for 2023.
2023 budget you have in front of you includes those changes.
Right.
With an additional change for the prosecuting attorney's office that wasn't included in the information provided.
We don't have to vote on this, right?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah,
Just.
just informational. Okay. All right. Finance report, we'll start with, and I forgot to add this agenda, but we'll do it under finance, but we were given a copy today of the latest form of the general fund budget, which balances at $5,852,410. And I would like to make a motion to do a tentative 101 budget approval for the purpose of state of Michigan reporting. Support. Move to support it. So we did this last year. And it's just to get the numbers up to the state so we can qualify for whatever state funding is going to be coming down and get our dashboard up to speed. Speaking of dashboard. So I have not reached out to
Unitrix,
no, Unitrix is done.
completely done.
Unitrix is done. It's
Okay.
what's the new one?
MGT,
And MDT, so,
They have reached out.
okay, so that's in the process. Okay.
It's a done deal.
All right, excellent. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, and Unitrix is officially done, so
Was there a payment that needed? to be
no money required.
so that $6,500 invoice that we received,
Yeah, I told Tina 2 weeks ago.
okay.
Well,
Because I have the $7,500 MGT, but that's for the cost allocation plan, not the performance dashboard. Okay,
Yeah, to be clear, it's Unitrix. The Unitrix invoice is the one you don't have to pay. That would be if we were to carry on services. Okay, so got a motion and a second. Do you have a second?
Yeah. Who was the second?
Bill Johnson.
Any other comments, concerns, questions? Of course, we'll be setting a special meeting, or not special, we're setting a public hearing for the budgets and the non-generals before the end of the year to get everything squared away. If nobody has any questions or concerns, then we'll do a roll call.
Gothier,
Yes.
Brumman. No. Small,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
this is Brady.
No, you didn't, but yes.
Okay,
Try to trick me into saying no. Okay, motion carries. What else we got for finance today? We have to move some money, don't we? Oh, no, we have to have a discussion, not today, but we have to figure out where to get some money. Money was moved for
I don't know what we should have.
Yeah,
we should set up a- I can't do it, I mean, I don't, but yeah, do it before.
Next.
Send an email out.
Yeah.
You have anything, Dan, for finance?
Nope.
Cheryl, does finance need to do anything else today?
I sent you all an email this morning in regards to the email I was sent. The only thing that would need to be addressed would be an appropriation for the probate public guardian, but that's entirely your fault. There's $560 some left in the fund balance. It's not enough to get through probably even the end of the month, but that was brought to you from Carolyn.
And that's something we'd have to vote to take it out of somewhere to pull through this up, right? Or is that just a move?
No, the money, the original transfer was you allocated $6,000 to
Yep.
the probate public guardian. That funding isn't enough to carry them through. They don't have a fund balance. Their budget says that they intended to transfer 10,000 from their fund balance. They have $562. They don't have the money to transfer it. So it would be either a discussion with the department head to find out what they feel like they're.
Carolyn,
Why can't we take it out of what would otherwise be going to 292? Just move it, a line item movement and address it in that manner.
Don't you think we should have a discussion with the department head and exactly what they feel they're gonna need for the end, to the end of the year?
There's enough money in what's going to 292. Do that, I believe there's enough.
Let's see, that's
Pardon?
I'll give this still conversation. with the department head, so.
You take the amount of money that was that's been utilized for the last 10 months and the probate public guardian, it came out to need approximately $10,000 to cover the gap that they have.
estimated 10,000 to give them through the rest of the year.
With the positive fund balance at the end of the year, yeah.
And what particular line item, out of 292 would that come from? Don't know.
It would be the allocation of the general fund.
969, 999.
Do we have enough information to make a motion right now, is what I'm saying? Did somebody cobble together?
I'm saying I don't believe you need a motion.
Don't need it, you just move it.
That's my thought process on it. I think it's 010.
Child care fund is 969, 999, 10010. They have 70,000 that was allocated, which leaves a balance of approximately 105,000 available to be allocated. And on that paper, it shows that they've expended 7,000 more than they have. This is why there's a figure of 10,000 to cover the expenses that have already been expended, obviously, and it's approximately 2,400, I believe, per month between 22, 23. When you take the average of what's spent, so I gave them an estimate of an approximately, 3,000 more. And then they would have some money still coming in for their cases that they have to cover the balance for costs, but it would be prudent to put in 10,000 if felt is appropriate.
Wait, is it too late to do this in the first meeting in December? No, we don't have to do it. Let's have a finance meeting and get all the particulars worked out. I don't know, I'm not comfortable with, I don't have a grasp on this, I guess, so. I'll schedule a finance meeting, we'll work out what's gotta go where and then. Get it all shifted around.
I don't think.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. That should be at finance, so personnel.
The one thing that we would like to discuss with all of you. We all got the letter from the employee and employization indicating concern. And we have spoken with actually, we've spoken with the sheriff. And, now he's not going to drop whatever it is that he's doing at that moment. But, he will be happy to send a deputy or what's the next level up?
Sorry.
Lieutenant, no, not a lieutenant, sergeant. Sorry. Anyway, the other option that I became aware of from one of the assessors is that they utilize the township supervisor. And they have a concern. So there are two options. And what we would like to do is to send a memo back. We told Troy not to send him a memo at the end of last week saying, please do not send them out, period, until you hear from us. And indicated that would probably be by Wednesday this week. What we would like to do is to send a memorandum to Troy to direct. And I would like to see us have a document that they would sign that says something to the effect. It is my understanding that I am not to go to any place that I am fearful of or concerned. If there is a place that I need to go, I will contact the sheriff's office and or the township supervisor for that township. I think there's value to having them have to indicate in writing their awareness of the options. In that, we would also say, if you have concerns and the deputy is not available, nor a township supervisor, please report to your supervisor, the department head, that you are not comfortable doing that one at that particular address, and turn it into your supervisor. I expressed this some time ago that I believe there are huge red flags if we send them any place where they're not comfortable. God forbid anything were to happen to them. And I think this could address that. I just, things happen. There's no predicting it. And I feel that if we jeopardize their safety, that they feel a safety element too, then we are opening ourselves for a very hellacious lawsuit that we would not be protected from. You know, it's kind of like if you're driving your car and you're drunk, probably your insurance company isn't going to cover you because you shouldn't have been driving that drunk anyway. Well, this is a similar situation. If we send them out into an unsafe entity that they feel is unsafe, and we do it anyway and tell them you have to go, we're opening ourselves up.
I think, I understand what Carolyn's saying, but I mean, this personally, I think we as the board of commissioners need to have Troy, the department head, come in, talk to us, let him tell us what's going on that before any other letters are sent out or anything. We need to talk to the department head. He's the one that's in charge of that department, and sending out letters right now, not knowing what the department head is thinking of that, to me is not the right way to go. I think we need him in here.
Getting ahead of the.
Yeah, equalization.
Since he is in today, I would suggest then that at some point, after we've gone through most of everything else on the agenda, that we recess and ask them to come in and talk to us.
Yeah, I'm not against that. Let's do it after the clerk report.
We believe there's absolutely no reason for any added compensation. That has been dismissed completely. Completely by us.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. All right, let's do the. Is personnel complete?
Yes,
Okay. We'll move on with the treasurer's report. While that's happening, I'm gonna run down and see if Troy's there.
Not a whole lot to report. We're in the ending stages of forfeiture for the properties. The publications go out. There's a deadline looming for payment for it. Things will be published in the newspaper. We have had pretty consistent payments from townships with a few exceptions, as far as tax collection, getting ready to do the December bills going out. Having conversations with the townships in regards to the new processes that's going to be happening for next year's taxes. I have intentions of going to all the townships, to their boards, to meet with the boards, to let them know the expectations that the treasurers and I have worked out for their board and the responsibilities that they have, because they will, the whole process of the equalization bowing out of the maintenance is put a new element to a new learning curve on not only my office, but the treasurers themselves, because it's something that had been going on since I was hired, so it's been handled there. It's a transition, it's a change, and it will be a good change, I think, for the township. They'll have a little more accountability for themselves on their tax rolls. It'll be a fun, exciting ride for all the townships and the treasurers and the board. It's not, it's a lot of work. The responsibilities are obviously shifting, so it's a good thing. They're the feet on the floor, first line to their constituents for taxes, so it'll be, like I said, it'll be a learning curve for a lot of people, but it'll be a good thing. And other than that, that's about all we got. Unless anybody has any questions.
Nope. Anybody? Okay. One second, Troy. What do you got for the clerk's report?
44 North was here this morning, Jennifer Weinstead, a representative, and she met with, there were some department heads in here. It was a pretty good turnout for her. And she just discussed what the new rates were and if anything with open enrollment, if they wanted to switch from the HSA or the HRA, or just to answer any questions in general. And as you know, we had elections last week. The canvassers came in on Thursday and completed the canvass. The elections have been uploaded electronically. They still have to be hard copy mailed out. I'm hoping to do that today still. And the public hearing, when do you want? You want me to publish it in next week's paper for the general and non-general fund so that by the following Wednesday you can adopt it?
No, we don't. Right
Because I
now,
have to have it in this week's paper
so
or
we did
by
the
this Friday.
so we did a tentative today,
Mhm.
which allows us to do the recording. Now we have a little more window to get the actual everything put together and have a public meeting. But we should still, because how long has it been in paper?
I thought just 1 week.
1 week?
I'd have to double check on that. I thought I had that with me, but I don't.
So I'm not sure we'll be ready with non-generals to try to do it by the first meeting in December. You think we'd be in that spot? Okay, so
There was only 7 that weren't reviewed. That can be reviewed.
so let's, I mean, if everybody's in agreement here, we could put the public hearing notice in for the first regular meeting in December.
Like that. beforehand, before the regular meeting
Yeah, we
begins?
just started at like 1 o'clock.
One, okay. Also, with back to the elections real quick, having 6 new clerks, I'd like to say they really did a wonderful job. We were out of here in like record time on election night. You hear, like I said, you hear those horror stories from other counties, and I'm glad that, they went through a lot of training and they did really well, especially given that 2 of the townships we had to work between Consumers Energy, thanks to Rich Castle and Morgan Electric for getting to these townships. It was great working with the clerks, and I think that night was more stressful that they all had power than it was actually election night. And that's all I have.
Yeah, definitely shout out to those people that helped out. I
Mhm.
talked to Rich Castle a couple days after that.
He was on
They
it.
had generators everywhere. so,
Generators were coming from Novi.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, and Omega Electric helped, but it wasn't the right wire. It was a mess. It was a mess. I think that was later than election night too.
All right, Troy, thanks for coming down. We want to talk about the email that we got regarding the safety of your employees.
Okay,
And get some input. Dan, what'd you have in particular?
Well, I think really, Carolyn had brought it up and really want to hear from you. How many instances do you think there's a year when that kind of comes up, and what kind of policy you as the department head want to see in place for indeed when you or your employees think that a property could be a problem going to survey, they need a sheriff's system or something like that.
our policy always has been to, first of all, go to the sheriff and find out if there is anybody out there that there isn't. That we should not go to, that's always been, even back in the day when Doug Atchison was there, that was our policy. But as you know, things are selling a lot. They don't know everybody, we don't know everybody, and what I tell her, and even myself, if I feel uncomfortable, any kind of threat, don't go. I mean, that's always been the policy, but you don't know,
Yeah, I know they don't know.
you don't know, so I mean. There's nothing more than you can do is go and knock on a door and cross your fingers and hopefully you don't come across somebody.
So do you, as a department head, think there's more policy needs to be put in place?
I don't know how you can put more policy in place because you don't know everybody. I mean, if there was, I mean, how do you know?
Yeah, oh, I know.
You don't know.
But if an employee starts to walk up to a house and says, I'm not comfortable,
They're out of there.
they should turn around and leave.
They absolutely do.
But it's the perception of the individual at the moment.
Yep.
Now, they may have had that perception 3 hours before,
Well, even if they have it well before I make it clear, if they do not feel comfortable and they feel that, do not go.
but I believe we need to have a document that says that they understand that is the rule.
Well, I can.
So they can't turn around and say, well, maybe I shouldn't have gone, but
There's some every year that she does not go.
and that's fine.
And that's, I mean, even myself, when I've gone out there. If I feel not comfortable, I don't go, but if I get there, I mean, it's like once every year. I mean, I've seen guns in the back, I've seen neighbors come out with shotguns. You know, once you, most of the time, they will say, well, who are you? And then once you explain who you are. But you're always gonna come.
We used
with one
We
with
used
a
to
gun.
have signs for cars.
We do, we have on our door,
They are put on now when you
Yeah.
go out.
on our doors, it says equalization, but. I mean, I go out and every year you're gonna come across somebody that has,
Right.
you can carry a weapon now, so I mean, a pistol, you have your license. I've seen it while I'm sitting right there on the couch talking, and he leans forward and I see his pistol, and it's like, you can't. Say, I'm getting the heck out of here, you listen to him, just let him go through his thing and try to get out as fast as you can.
So you personally feel you have all the policies in place that's really needed, it's just, and you, that your employees have the discretion to say, hey, I don't feel like going there, they just don't go.
That's correct.
And you're never gonna force somebody.
But we don't have,
That's that. Go ahead, Gary.
we don't have proof that they know that. And I think we need it in a written document.
Well, they'd be more than willing to sign anything that they know that I tell them, they build it.
And I think that needs to happen.
That's no problem. I mean, we're still gonna come across,
Sure you are.
I mean, every year I've gone out just about, I've seen it done. So,
So
you're not gonna, you're
You
not,
might see some guns at my house.
well, not
But-
carrying in the back and carrying in your hand like this.
So it's department head, is that a document you would put together that you can put together that you know you were comfortable with your voice in it?
Yeah,
When that situations arise, so we can have it.
I mean, we talk about it every year, and it's like, you know, but I can give them, you know, I tell them, not comfortable, do not go.
Could personnel please work with you on a format?
Sure,
Okay,
Sure.
is that agreeable to the board?
after taxes.
I think that once it's put together, that it comes to the board of commissioners to
Before
approve
they
it.
sign it?
Yeah, to approve the document, I would think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a policy, so I think once it comes in, you know, just have, so everybody on the board is aware of what exactly that document says, you know, I think that's what it should be.
We will
That's my
try- we
opinion.
will try to have it ready for you at the next meeting.
Okay, thanks, Troy.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep, no problem.
Next up, communications in your packet, review at your leisure. Committee reports, I'm gonna start today. Cause it's fun. And it's not really a committee, it's the Guston Township. Guston Township, you might have read in the paper, is working on a solar ordinance. There's a lot of interest for property owners. Are being approached for leasing of their properties. Guston Township had their planning commission meeting last Thursday and the response was about 50-50. For and against, property owners who are offered the possibility to have a contract are obviously for it, and there's a lot of people who are opposed because they don't want to ruin the aesthetic of our county. Talking about property values going down. One of the things in the ordinance was the noise level allowable for like transformers. So I just, it's important to bring up because it's gonna go before the township board, on Monday. And then a week from Monday, or next Monday, and then if they approve it, then it comes to us. So just start doing your thoughts and processes and things like that, because, you know, there was probably a third of the people in that room weren't even from Guston Township. They were outside of the township. So, that being said, I thought it would be important to bring it to you guys to think about and have some kind of opinion, because, if they do pass it at the board level, then it's coming to us. That's all I got, so, Terry.
Attended the mental health meeting, and I'm continuing, I've done a Zoom meeting with the Consumer Power, well, it was Mac. Was actually doing a Zoom meeting in regards to the potential releasing of the dams. It's a complete area. All the counties that were involved in possibilities of dams changing. Were there talking about it, so. I don't have a resolution coming forward right now. With the Osceola County, I see Iosco has got one on the, has put one forward. And be working on that.
Okay. Thank you. Dan.
Yeah, I just gave you the minutes from the ARPA meeting that we had last week, and I see I already had, I said board of directors, it should be board of commissioners is there, but basically, we called the meeting just to make sure if there's anything we needed to talk about what's happened through the year, and then Bill, and I'll let Bill talk about this, but just to give you an overview, start the conversation regarding the MSU buildings and obligations that were needed for repairs. There was a discussion about approximately 17,000 to be used to put on a new roof on the one back building, and it was the ARPA's committee unanimous decision that no ARPA monies be used for any of those projects, and it was also the recommendation from the ARPA committee to the Board of Commissioners that they start to research on constructing a new pole barn for storage of the sheriff's department's equipment, et cetera. And it was also the ARPA's committee's recommendation that the process should be started on finding another new office space for our tenants down at that MSU building. And Bill can talk about it more, but it's basically the amount of money that the last meeting they had of the Fed said that was amount of repairs down there. Me personally, I think we've already put our foot in the ground with the veterans over in Lincoln, not wanting to purchase a contaminated site. That site's contaminated. So I really think we're not going to be in any kind of shape to even purchase that down there, and to put all kinds of money in there, just throw it away is it's our possibility that we should do that. That was really done. Our committee's meeting. Bill, you want to talk about?
The only thing I was concerned about is the $15,000 to $17,000 cost for the repair on the roof on the storage is a small token which would buy us time. The actual permit is good until 2033 before we would have to really either change the permit or buy it or get out or whatever. It would buy us time versus the pole barn. Just the pole barn alone, if we do what we were discussing, it would have to be a relatively large one with a cement floor, has to have electricity and so forth over here by the jail to see if, plus we got to see if the city will allow it. That's going to be much higher in cost than the $14,000 or $15,000, and it still doesn't create any place for the employees. If the U.S. Forest Service decides, well, you're not making any effort to maintain your end of the deal, therefore eviction, whatever they might call it, happens earlier, we will have to scramble like mad to find spaces for the employees. And there's about 5 or 6 people there, departments and stuff that we have to find. The last sentence on there is where I'm more comfortable with, is that is to move forward as fast as we can on getting office space, being an annex or whatever, rental, start looking at EMS buildings, not buildings, but property, and see if we can create something down there that will handle the removal once we do lose that building down there. But we have to think far enough ahead that we don't just build something to fit them. We need something that for the future of other departments. Terry's got some committees that are interested in helping. Things like that, we don't want to totally eliminate it. So I voted with it because I don't believe we're going to end up buying it. But on the same token, I wanted to express the movement forward is where we got to go.
Okay, anything else?
Nope.
Carolyn?
Cedar Lake Improvement Board is in the process of demoing the house that was on the property that we purchased earlier this summer. That should be finished. Now, tomorrow's hunting season. I would otherwise say we expect it to be finished. The bids have already been let out. With 3 bids, 9,000 something, I think 14,000 and 20,000. The 9,000 got it. We, as of December 5th, Sarah is no longer the executive director for Northeast Michigan 211. She will be fulfilling a position at the state level of 911. And I'm sorry, not 911, 211. And I look for her within 5 years to be the executive director of Michigan 211. We also had a new candidates for that position, the 211 position, have to be submitted by November 18th. And so I know we've gotten over 20, but over half of those don't have the credentials for, the potential executive director. We also have a new executive director that just been hired at Sunrise Center. And that individual is Michelle, and I cannot remember her last name, I'm sorry to say. Also, Flib has had their first meeting with the auditor, and we hope to have that done by. There's a shortage of everything, toilet paper and auditors. And that's basically. Well, hey, Joe, like, come on, you're bigger voice than that.
Sorry,
No, that's,
So, you know,
I'm sorry,
I
that's
can't
fine.
get away from being 12 years old half the time, so it's hard for me. Thanks, Colin.
Sure, anytime.
Oh, okay, so I think we're down to last night. Public comment, 5 minutes, yeah,
Sure, why not?
all right.
What the heck? If, you think things were busy the last couple of years, I have a funny feeling seeing what's changed is you're gonna see a lot more people asking for you to, you know, step up and advocate for our civil rights, because I have a funny feeling a lot of them are gonna be vanishing real quick over the next 2 years, at least.
Thank you, Gary. Anybody else? Anybody online? Okay. Sounds like the commissioner additional comment from Carolyn.
I would like to ask that, Dave has been very, very good about attending our meetings and trying to bring himself up to speed and so on. And if it's not too much of an imposition, I would like to have Dave give his email address to our clerk. And when our packets are mailed out, if you could just also CC him on it, please. Thank you.
Everybody else? Okay, meeting adjourned. December 7th.
So you want to slow, right, else?
Yep, I'll let you know, then hopefully we get the. They drive a lot. They're both driving.